Just need to wait for Walter Kruger's guys to get in position in LA so we can ship them out. United Kingdom has called Iran as our ally. Okay, now the wars have been merged. So we had to wait for the call to arms to be accepted before we could merge those two wars. Man, we're taking attrition now. Like, it's really starting to show. Yeah, I just... Can one of you, just, I don't care who, just please take this province. Please, please take this province. I really should have sent a smaller force up here. Okay, and now the Soviet-Turkish War has merged with the Soviet-Iraqi War. So is there anyone still neutral? Afghanistan, Tibet, Nepal, Bhutan, Portugal, Brazil, and Guatemala and El Salvador are the only nations currently not involved in World War 2.5. Okay, cool. It looks like the Soviets have, or not the Soviets, the Brits have almost closed off this part of the front. So if we can, let's just see if we can sweep that out real quick. That'll give us a much smaller front and much more capacity to move forward. Okay. So we can go through for the sub-operations or the convoy escort route. I think we definitely could use some convoy escorts right now for our naval doctrine. Marines. Yeah, we're just going to finish off this pocket, and that will allow us to close off this part of the front entirely.
Sounds like the Chinese and Japanese idea is if you're having some issues with the screen being frozen, try a refresh.
Yeah, try a refresh. There's a lot of people streaming this game right now. Twitch tends to get overloaded. We do have monitoring capacity now on our end, so we'll be able to tell if it's on our end or Twitch's end, and if it's on our end, we'll fix it. Otherwise, you just have to refresh and hope Twitch stops giving us trouble, because on game release days they tend to have capacity problems sometimes. Okay, we have all our support divisions upgraded. Let's go ahead and start researching military police just so we can station some divisions in Japan. We'll start producing... Oh, we can't produce them yet, but we'll start producing a few lines of military police, because it'll be helpful on the Soviet front, too. I know I said last time it wasn't very democratic, but gotta do what we gotta do. Eisenhower's still pushing in Mongolia. Do we have... Okay, this huge army is ready to ship out and join Eisenhower. So we'll have them land at Beijing, or Tianjin, actually, outside Beijing. They should be safe, because, yeah, I believe we have naval dominance all through, yeah. I mean, they might take a couple submarine hits, but that's the worst that'll happen. And just going to do a little bit of unit micro here to just shrink these fronts a little bit. My guys are not being as intelligent as they could be about shrinking the front. Let's take a look at Europe real quick. Germany's still pushing. They've taken Bryansk. They have taken this whole region around...
I think the Soviets are going to get knocked out of the war in short order, actually.
Britain still has not established a path back to the sea, I don't believe... Oh, no. So, Iraq actually has...
Bailed them out.
Yeah, bailed them out and made a supply path back to the sea. So, that is fortunate for them.
I think the Germans might actually be...
Oh, that's Slovakia.
Do you recommend Hearts of Iron 3? Or Hearts of Iron 3 is a lot less accessible than this one.
Hearts of Iron 3 is a very difficult game to get into. I am a hardcore grand strategy player, and I had a hard time getting into Hearts of Iron 3.
It's complicated.
Hearts of Iron 4 is
accessible.
Going to be the better game for 90% of people. 3 had a little bit more complexity in some areas that you might like if you're into like the really nitty-gritty stuff, but 4 just seems like such an all-around better game to me now that I'm not sure why most people would ever play Hearts of Iron 3 again. It was like when EU4 came out. It's like, I don't know why anyone would play EU3 again after this. Okay. We should have a little bit better situation for our Marines now. Make sure that we bump this transport infrastructure up to higher priority. And then I'm going to make sure we're still building factories. We're going to do a little bit of leapfrog production interface micro. Because we still want all of this to be high priority. You always want to be building some civilian and some military factories, no matter what. And how is our reinforcements going? Alright. Once these guys show up, Eisenhower's going to start kicking some serious ass. I believe we can say ass. I believe YouTube does not care if we say ass. I believe they're also okay with shoot dang and
our taters, our eggs,
tarnation,
our crevasse,
night vision.
Our
2.
bit where the good Lord split. I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
If they force my hand on this, it'll get real awkward for everyone involved.
We both watched a lot of the 1990s X-Men cartoons, so. Alright. See how much of a difference that made?
That theme song being the biggest earworm like ever.
You know what was weird about that show is it made Jubilee a really big deal, and she has never been a big deal before or
she was
since
annoying
then.
as hell in that show.
Yeah, like no X-Men movie or comic has ever made Jubilee as big a deal as she was in that.
Look at what she did to
show.
Jubilee is the #1 indication that that show is dated. Like when you're rewatching it.
Yep.
Look at what she did to the VCR with one touch. I'm gonna go hang out at the mall and get some chili cheese fries, Mom. And then she goes and plays at an arcade.
Yep.
It's like, yep, that's a different time.
Why does Patch have 48 divisions now? Why did his army merge with Patton's army? Is actually the real question. Obviously, I misclicked and did something dumb. But, yeah, that's not what we want at all. So, Patton can have his army back. And now we're missing a huge, huge gap in our front line here. Okay. Yeah, go back to doing what you were doing. Delete this order because it's bugged out at this point. And we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna draw something a little simpler that I think the Hoi 4 AI will have a little bit of an easier time with. Patton should probably be doing something. I just don't know what I really... Well, yeah, let's have him push up. Yeah, that's right. He did have orders. He just isn't doing them because we have so few supplies. So, yeah, I wanted to take that and then close that off. Yeah. Be interesting to see whether we make the Soviets capitulate or if Germany gets that honor. Air. Yeah, we don't need any more naval bombers. We're already so far ahead. We could probably build some heavy fighters and tactical bombers, but I think That feels a low priority to me right now. Submarine, submarine, submarine. We're not using submarines all that much is the thing. We could use better cruisers. That's definitely something that would be in our interest. Fargo class. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, this is just turned into a long slog across the Russian terrain that will only be aided by building more infrastructure. Have we arrived in Tianjin yet? No. We're still on the way. Call to arms from Turkey for a war we're already in. See, our research shortages are not dire right now. So that's why I haven't changed my trade law, but we probably should at some point here. The thing is, it also boosts our factory construction speed, so it might be worthwhile to keep it going until we've finished all of our factories. By the way, this is all damaged infrastructure in our occupied territories that needs to be repaired. It's not that they've been bombing the U.S. or anything. It would let us know if that were the case. I don't know how the Soviets are still sending submarines to attack us. I think... Oh, it's this thing! Oh, can we...
Little random island.
Yeah, once we get our Marines over here, we can... Well, I should probably... Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split off a single Marine division. An experienced one. I'm going to send them to the nearest port. I was like, how do they still have any naval capacity whatsoever? Or naval projection, rather, not naval capacity. We have available planes in reserve. We have like 3,000 TBF 1C Avengers, a whole bunch of Air Cobras, a whole bunch of Warhawks, Wildcats. Let's station them in Mongolia. I'm just going to create some new air wings. Warhawk, Hawk, Air Cobra. Why can't we deploy them here? If we have 1,500 of them, we can start putting our bombers here.
I'll be right back.
All right.
We're going to have to move to the tablet for chat monitoring.
Monitoring. Our YouTube channel is Loresworn Order. You can find it really easily. I think we have it down in our Twitch bio as well. Wow. I don't know why I can't move my close air support wings, but we can at least move our fighters in. All of our fighters are carrier fighters at this point, but you know, that's okay. Actually, we should switch production over if we can, because we have more carrier fighters than we will ever need. Yeah, carrier fighter 2. We want to switch over to P-51 Mustangs. We want to produce a lot of those. And then carrier naval bombers, we have way too many of those. We want to get some close air support. Naval bomber, carrier CAS. Oh, there we go. There's the Helldiver. We want to produce a lot of those. And fighter 2 we don't need anymore. So I'm actually just going to cancel that line. Alright. Take a while to build up our production efficiency on that. I probably should have taken my other fighter line and used that to create the new fighter line to preserve some production efficiency, but what can you do? I think my Marines have not started to attack yet because they're trying to redistribute themselves along the line here. Patton's guys are kind of bogged down again. Low supplies. It's sad times. And our army should have arrived in Tianjin by now. Should have being the operative word. They're still on the way. The UK is not really being very aggressive. I'm actually gonna... What's that?
Can you blame them?
Not really. What I might do... I'm actually having a hard time filling out this front, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move some Marines in and kind of force them to take over a larger section of the front here by doing some tricky micro. Got some more escort patrol going on. These big Mongolian pockets are kind of annoying here. Like we won't push into them because it's empty and there are no troops there, but we really should be. We shouldn't be allowing these giant salients to form. Mongolia's got to be pretty close to capitulating, really. Alright, my Marines are still just distributing troops back and forth, which is getting a little bit annoying, actually. They have their orders. Just don't have the supplies or the infrastructure to properly execute them. Alright, how close are we here? Moving through the Sea of Japan. Takes a long time to get 30 divisions across across the Pacific Ocean, as it turns out. Across the largest body of water in the world. Oh, shoot. My plan failed. It made our front longer, and the Brits are still just dinking around. Okay. That's the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. But that's okay. We're about to get 30 more divisions for Eisenhower.
Congratulations to the Twitch stream. 10,000 viewers.
Oh, for the Paradox stream?
Yeah, Paradox.
Right on. Good for them. Our transports are... Yeah, okay. They made it through unscathed. Our Navy did their job hunting Soviet submarines.
Yeah. The Russians' days are numbered.
Am I sending 7 Marines down there? United Kingdom announces Balkan diplomatic initiative.
Interesting.
The United Kingdom is not alone in seeing the rising threat in Central Europe. Really? They're not? They're not alone? They're not alone seeing the rising threat in Central Europe? The rising threat? Rising?
I'd say it's done risen.
They're probably risen. Oh, by the way, look at New Zealand. Freaking... They're enjoying some Tuscan wine. They're you know, hanging out in Venice.
Go Kiwi.
Yeah.
Go Kiwi.
With their status as an independent nation guaranteed by the now challenged Treaty of Versailles. The now challenged Treaty of Versailles. There are German boots in Le Havre, Cherbourg, Paris. Paris is literally owned by the Nazis, but it's the now challenged Treaty of Versailles.
We just now decided we have a problem
Hey,
with how
wait
this
a
is
minute.
unfolding.
That doesn't really fall in line with the treaty that you have Gestapo agents
We've only been
in
fighting
Paris.
you for frickin' 7 years.
Or with fascist powers and their aggressive rhetoric. Yeah, that's what I would call this. I would call this rhetoric. That's what's happening here, is some rhetoric.
France is now Spain, but rhetoric.
Yeah. Several states have seen the need to lead a pro-British policy. The United Kingdom has responded to this development by redoubling their diplomatic efforts in the region. So, the United Kingdom is preparing their strategy, European stability. I don't think either of those event options did anything, because what they would have done has already been preempted by the fact that we're at a war with
Everyone.
yeah. Yep.